Josh owes $18,700. After rent, food, transport, utilities, and every minimum repayment, he has only $250 left each month. At first, that sounds hopeless. Even if nothing went wrong, how could $250 possibly defeat almost $19,000 of debt? But the amount is not Josh's biggest problem. His biggest problem is that every unexpected bill sends his back to the credit card. Today, we're going to build a plan that can survive real life. And halfway through, a $700 expense will test whether it actually works. Stay to the end because Josh's final debt-free date may be much closer than it first appears. Josh's debt did not come from one reckless purchase. It accumulated in ordinary pieces. A $6,500 credit card balance at 22% interest, a $9,000 personal loan at 12%, $1,200 in buy now pay later balances, and $2,000 in overdue household bills. He is already paying about $550 a month in minimums. The extra $250 means his total debt payment power can eventually reach roughly $800 a month. But sending every spare dollar to the highest interest balance today would leave his exposed. Before choosing Snowball or Avalanche, he needs to stop the financial bleeding. Josh's first job is not to become debt-free overnight. It is to avoid becoming more indebted next month. He stops using buy now pay later, removes the saved credit card from shopping apps, and pauses non-essential subscriptions. He also contacts the companies behind the overdue bills and arranges affordable payment plans. Priority bills, housing, electricity, essential transport, and food remain protected. This is not about cutting every enjoyable thing from his life. It is about creating one dependable number, the same $250 available every month, not $400 one month and nothing the next. Now Josh makes a decision that can feel wrong. For 4 months, he continues every minimum payment, but puts the extra $250 into a starter emergency buffer. After month 4, he has $1,000. Why save while paying interest? Because without even a small buffer, a tire, medical cost, or appliance repair goes straight back onto the card. The buffer is not an investment, and it is not a complete emergency fund. It is temporary protection for the repayment plan. If Josh already had $1,000 saved, he could skip this step and begin attacking debt immediately. At month 5, Josh releases the extra $250 toward debt. But what comes first? Pure Avalanche says, attack the 22% credit card. Pure Snowball says clear the $1,200 buy now pay later balance. Josh uses a practical hybrid. He keeps every minimum running, protects the agreed overdue bill plan, and directs extra money toward anything urgent enough to risk disconnection, serious penalties, or essential service problems. Once urgent accounts are stable, the 22% credit card becomes the main target. This prevents immediate damage while still reducing the most expensive interest. The first months do not look dramatic. Josh's balance begins at $18,700. Interest continues, and during the 4-month buffer stage, he pays only minimums. By the end of month 4, he has his $1,000 shield and approximately $17,326 of debt remains. By month 6, after directing the extra money toward the plan, the balance is approximately $16,127. That is not a viral transformation. It is something more useful. A plan Josh has actually repeated for 6 months. But now comes the moment that usually destroys his progress. Josh's car needs an urgent $700 repair. Under his old system, he would put it on the credit card, turning one emergency into months of new interest. This time, he uses $700 from the starter buffer. His debt balance does not rise. For the next 3 months, he temporarily redirects the extra $250 to refill the buffer while all minimum repayments continue. Yes, this pushes his debt-free date back slightly, but it prevents the more damaging cycle of borrowing, repaying, and borrowing again. A good plan is not one that assumes nothing goes wrong. It is one that knows what to do when something does. Once the buffer is restored, Josh resumes the attack. When the buy now pay later balance disappears, its old minimum does not return to spending. It rolls into the next target. The same happens when the overdue bills are cleared. Eventually, the credit card minimum, those freed payments, and the $250 extra combine against the personal loan. Josh never needs to find a brand new $800. He builds it by keeping money that was already assigned to debt moving forward. This is where the plan begins to accelerate. Without the $700 interruption, Josh's example plan would bring the balance to approximately $12,455 at month 12, $8,466 at month 18, and $4,082 at month 24. Because his real-life repair required 3 months to rebuild the buffer, those later milestones shift by roughly 3 months. That is not failure. The emergency was handled without creating new debt, and the plan continued. Instead of hiding the delay, Josh updates the timeline. Progress is not destroyed simply because the finish date changes. Maybe you're watching this and thinking, Josh has $250. I only have $100. Use the same order with your real number. Protect essentials, keep minimums current where possible, negotiate unaffordable accounts, and build a smaller starter buffer at a pace you can repeat. A lower extra payment means a longer timeline, but it does not make the system useless. And if nothing remains after essentials and minimums, the first goal is not an aggressive payoff. It is stabilizing the budget, requesting hardship assistance, and preventing fees or interest from getting worse. So, when does Josh finally escape the $18,700? In the clean example, with 4 months spent building the starter buffer and then roughly $800 a month flowing toward debt, he reaches zero at around month 30. After including the $700 repair and 3-month buffer refill, his realistic finish moves to approximately month 33. About 2 years and 9 months. Not because he suddenly earns 6 figures, not because he finds thousands of dollars overnight. He succeeds because the plan survives the month when real life interrupts it. The most important change happens after the final payment. The money that used to disappear into 4 debts is now available for Josh's future. He can strengthen his emergency fund, begin investing, or work toward another goal without increasing his lifestyle immediately. If you are in debt on a low income, do not begin by asking how to fix everything this month. Ask 3 smaller questions. What must I protect first? What amount can I repeat? And which balance receives the extra next? Use the ClearEveryday debt calculators to compare the snowball and avalanche methods with your own numbers. Your first payment may look small, but a repayment plan that survives real life can take you much further than one perfect month.